everybody. Today we are going to be focusing on when to use the phrases how many and how much. So we use these phrases in questions, so sentences that are questions. And when you are using the phrases how many and how much, you are asking about the quantity of a noun, so how much there is of something, of a person, place, or thing. And so when you are trying to decide, do I use how many or how much, you have to really focus on the noun that is in your sentence, the person, place, or thing that is in your sentence. So first, I am going to just say a few sentences with the phrases how many and how much, and your job is to just listen and kind of get an idea of the questions or the kinds of questions we're talking about today. So I'm just going to read off some questions, and you just need to listen and focus on listening for the phrases how many and how much. How many dogs do you have? How many books did you buy? How much homework did she give you? How much water did you drink? How many sentences are there? How much information did they give you? So if you were listening to those questions, you heard the phrases how many and how much. And were you focusing on when you heard each phrase? So now that you've listened to some sentences and gotten an idea of what we're looking for here, now I'm going to show you some sentences, and in each of these sentences that are questions, you will see that underlined is the phrase how many or how much. And like I mentioned earlier, when you are trying to decide whether to use how many or how much, you really have to focus on the noun in your sentence. So I'm going to show you and read to you a sentence, and then after I read the sentence, you are going to tell me what the noun was, and then depending on if we used how many or how much, we are going to put our noun on this graph. So if the question was how many, you would put the noun from the sentence on this side. So we'll look at this first one together. The sentence says, how many pickles are in the jar? So what is the phrase? It's underlined here, how many. And the noun is pickles. So since the phrase was how many, we're going to write pickles under how many. So pickles is under how many. Now, we did the first one together, so this next one I'm going to have you tell me. So the sentence is, how many shoes are in your closet? So now, what phrase was used? How many? Yes. And can you tell me what is the noun in this sentence? What noun are we asking about? Perfect. So the noun is shoes. So the phrase was how many, so we're going to put shoes under how many. Perfect. Let's see what one we have next. This sentence says, how much money did you spend? The phrase is how much. What is the noun in this sentence? What is the noun that needs to go on the how much side? Yes, money is the noun, so we're going to put money under how much. Money. Perfect. We have 3 more. This next one says, how many shirts should I bring? So the phrase is how many. What is the noun that we need to put under how many? Perfect. Shirts is the noun, so we're going to write shirts under how many. All right, next sentence. Perfect. Says, how much milk is left in the carton? How much milk is left in the carton? So the phrase is how much, and what is the noun in this sentence? Perfect. Milk is the noun, so we're going to write milk under how much. Remember to pay attention to the noun that tells us. Our last one here says, how many siblings do you have? So our phrase is how many, and what is the noun in this sentence? Siblings. Perfect. So we're going to write siblings under how many. Perfect. So now, if you're looking at our graph, how many? We have pickles, shoes, shirts, and siblings. How much? We have money and milk. So I want you to look at our graph here and see if you notice anything. What makes all of these nouns the same? And what makes these two nouns the same? I want you to think about that, and then we'll review what we think. So after thinking about our graph a little bit here, we have noticed that all of the nouns under how many are count nouns. That means we can count them. We can say there were 3 pickles or 4 pickles. We can say there were 6 or 7 shoes. How many shirts should I bring? I should bring 5 shirts. How many siblings do you have? I have 2 siblings. All of these nouns are count nouns, nouns that you are able to count. So we're going to write count nouns. And we noticed on this side, under how much, money and milk are non-count nouns, nouns that we are not able to count. You cannot say, I have 3 monies, or there are 2 milks left. That does not make sense. You cannot put a number in front of these nouns, so they are non-count nouns. Wonderful job. That is perfect. So what we can learn from our graph here is that we use the phrase how many when we are asking about count nouns or nouns that we can count. If you want to know how many siblings somebody has or how many shirts you should bring, you need to ask how many shirts, how many siblings. When you are asking about non-count nouns, nouns that you're not able to count, you would ask how much money do I need? How much milk is left? That is perfect. Now that you have learned all about when to use how many with count nouns and when to use how much with non-count nouns, we are going to do a little practice together. So I have written some questions on the board behind me here. First, we're going to decide, does how many or how much go on the blank here? And we do that by looking at the noun in the sentence. So I'm going to ask you to first identify the noun, then we have to decide, is it a count noun or a non-count noun? And then we have to decide, well, do we need the phrase how many or how much? So our first sentence here is, blank sisters are coming. So I'm going to ask you, what is the noun in this sentence? Blank sisters are coming. The noun is sisters. So now you have to decide, is this a count noun or a non-count noun? And my little trick for this is, if you can put a number in front of the noun and it still makes sense, then it's a count noun. So for example, does it make sense to say 2 sisters? Yes, it does. So that means it's a count noun, and who can tell me, do we use how many or how much with count nouns? How many, perfect. So our question is, how many sisters are coming? That's awesome. This next one, blank money is the meal. Blank money is the meal. What is our noun in the sentence? Money is the noun. And remember my trick, does it make sense to say 2 money, 4 monies? Does not make sense, which means it is a non-count noun. Now what phrase do we use with non-count nouns? How much? Perfect. Do how much in blue. How much money is the meal, because money is a non-count noun. The next one is, blank sugar is in the bowl. Blank sugar is in the bowl. What is our noun in the sentence? Sugar, perfect. Sugar is the noun. Now is this a count noun or a non-count noun? It is a non-count noun because you cannot say 2 sugar, 5 sugar. It's a non-count noun, which means we need to use how many or how much? How much? Yes, perfect. How much sugar is in the bowl? Okay, we have 3 more. Blank ice cream did you eat? Blank ice cream did you eat? Now what's our noun? ice cream? Is it a count noun or a non-count noun? Can you count ice cream? You cannot, which means it's a non-count noun, which means we have another how much. How much ice cream did you eat? 2 more. Blank markers are in his bag. Blank markers are in his bag. What is the noun? Markers. Is it a count noun or a non-count noun? It is a count noun, yes, because you can say 5 markers, 2 markers. So do we need how many or how much? How many? How many markers are in his bag? All right, last one. Blank cows are in the field. Blank cows are in the field. What is the noun? Cows. Is it a count noun or a non-count noun? Can we count cows? Yes, it's a count noun. So how many or how much? How many? How many cows are in the field? Perfect. So that is the end of our lesson. I hope that you understand a little bit better when to use the phrase how many and when to use the phrase how much. And just remember the trick. If you can count the noun, it's a count noun, and you use how many. If it's a non-count noun, a noun that you are not able to put a number in front of, then you use how much. Thank you for listening.